Okay, cool.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's all good. You just said record. Well, good afternoon.
Hey, friend. How are you?
How you doing?
Good. Covered a
How's
lot.
my mic, producer? Everything's great.
I refuse to ask you anything.
Ouch.
You know what you did.
So
yes. So I mean, besides us getting back together after a couple-week break, we do have some things happening. So I guess the new logo's up. I like that.
I love it.
Like it very much. And then the music will come beforehand, I'm told, right?
Yeah.
Because Mike will probably punch us both in the face if that music does not hit.
Right.
It has to hit.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet.
It's awesome.
Okay.
It's very nice.
Oh no, I have heard the music.
Yes,
I've heard the music. I thought you were talking about the video. Listen.
Yes.
You were born in the 70s?
Poor black man in Tennessee. That's right.
Okay. Well,
No, I was born in '78. Quincy,
78
Illinois. Yeah.
in Quincy.
Well, Payson, same thing.
It's kind of the same
Same
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it's the exact same place.
Yes. Yeah.
And the people in Payson are mad now because we're saying that they're Quincy.
Oh, they're fine.
And they want to be out in the
good.
country living their own lives, but you're insisting that they're city folk. That's going to really piss them off.
I guess. I mean, if it does, so be it.
So
What are they going to do about it?
they're nothing.
Yeah, they don't have the city council to take this on.
They don't have any ways to.
Although I would
to
shit
come
my
get us.
pants if we just looked outside one day and just 1,300 people pitchforked.
Yeah.
What are the little torches?
Well, it would be like 317 people because Payson only has 370.
Is that it? Are you for? I mean,
It's closer to 140.
how do you know that?
It's like 36 people total.
It's just these numbers are skewed, and I don't care for the being
No.
terrible facts, but
Yeah, none of what I said is true.
No,
But
no,
I do
no.
have an issue with something you wrote today because it struck a chord.
go on.
You sent me pictures of the way that your parents dressed you when you were a kid. I
Yeah.
sent you one picture.
Yeah, I hit
of
you
how
with
I was dressed,
hit you with something fancy. I
As a
got to
kid.
pull that up.
and you made some kind of. It struck a chord with me.
Wow.
Because I was thinking about how I don't dress my children as well as my parents. Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
looks like you are like a therapist for like people that can't afford one-on-one. They do group therapy. It looks like you are just struggling your ass off to get customers right now. Is like what are you, 7
can
or
I
8
pick
there?
this up?
Yeah, go
so
to town.
I mean,
Charlie
I don't.
Brown.
I have no idea if I know that nobody can see this, but there is a black and white generic aluminum foil package right there. So, do you remember generic? I'm not talking about Walmart brand,
No,
which is great value.
Yeah,
it's not really generic.
I don't remember the generic brand. No.
Okay, so there used to be something called generic.
Okay.
And so now people use the word generic for something that is like not a very, very popular brand. So for example,
Is he explaining words to me now?
No, listen.
Is that what he's doing?
this is what you got to do.
Son of a.
If you go to Walmart and you don't want to buy Pillsbury dough and you want to buy the Walmart brand,
Sure,
it's
if you
called
hate your family. Yeah.
it's called Great Value. That's the name of the brand.
Okay. No.
But people call
I
that
dig it.
generic,
Yeah.
but it's not. Generic, and if David Adam had a mic, he'd jump in and absolutely corroborate the story. There was
think
something way back in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
He's not that aggressive.
Where, if you look at this, the black and white aluminum foil packaging,
Okay, I know what
it's
you mean
just
now.
black and white.
Yeah, okay,
There's
like-
nothing on it. So, for example, if you looked in my grandmother's cupboard,
Yeah.
she would have generic soup. And all it said in black and white was chicken soup.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
And that's generic.
I mean, I think.
Do you not remember this?
No. I don't remember, like,
Maybe you guys had more money than my family.
It doesn't sound like it. Like, you're wearing a sweater vest, for God's sakes, at the age of 7, and it looks like you're rolling dough out.
I am rolling dough.
I mean,
How
come on,
else were we gonna eat?
You had dough money. That's big time. That's big time,
Do you
pal.
see? I look like part of the aristocracy, but I promise you I was part of the proletariat. It looks like it looks like my parents were raising me to be like a very good person.
It looks like you came in third for like an OJ commercial. Like you were just so close to getting that Sunny D ad, and you just missed it.
Well, for those who can't see it, maybe
Oh,
Bob
it'll
will
be
throw
up.
this in.
Yeah, we
It's gotta
gotta
go
throw
in
it up
there.
here?
It's got wherever he's gonna throw it.
Here? I don't know how it works.
I am in
Magic
this
of television
this
and all.
plaid shirt
Yeah, man.
with a sweater vest.
Yeah, man.
And my hair is cut like I don't want to even say.
It's
I'll
the
leave
Dumb and
that for
Dumber
you.
cut.
It's the Dumb and Dumber
Yeah,
cut.
100%.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
if you were
rolling
missing
on
a
dough.
tooth there, you could be Lloyd Christmas's son.
Right.
Or was his name Harry? No, it was Lloyd.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, listen, a handsome devil.
So that's 80. So that's 82.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah, it's 82.
I'm guessing this
83.
is probably the same. I'm guessing.
Okay,
Like,
so that
yeah.
picture of you, you're
So
saying that's
it-
82,
it
83?
looks like my parents went to like the Dukes of Hazzard page in the Sears catalog and was like, "Give my boy that look." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it looks like I collect cans for a living. It's awesome.
So do you have any? But okay,
Facial hair? Yes.
But that's
full,
a colored
full beard.
Your parents have you in a nice jacket. It's a collared shirt. It's
Would you
essentially
call it a
polo.
nice jacket?
It's not terrible.
I mean,
It screams 1976.
it screams he does okay at bowling. Like he's not great at it.
How do you-
Maybe like a
how do you feel
$1.20
about-
average.
How do you feel about 80s fashion, 90s fashion? Do you see any?
80s confused me. 80s really did, and my aunts and uncles that babysat us, you know, they lived, that was their peak time. So I never understood the hats and the shirts and the gloves, and you know, I just, to me it was chaos, and it was just like that's. And I watched them get ready, and it was like a 2-hour process, and just a whole damn can of that Aquanet. Remember that old stuff?
Aquanet, yeah.
Just the cheapest. It smoked. You couldn't breathe in the basement. I don't know. It was just a weird time. The music was odd, but still to this day it holds up. I'm not saying it's bad. It was just it was like an experimental decade. They were like, maybe we'll give this a try, and then at the end they were like, we gave it all we had.
I think
Hell
there
of an
was
effort.
Yeah. So I like to joke that I was born during the Ford administration because the next day Carter was inaugurated.
That's
so
an odd
I can't
thing to
really.
say.
Well, I can't claim that I grew up. I was, during Ford when really I really wasn't. It was just for like a split second, right? I had been out of the old uterus for like 6 hours, and then
You hear
Ford
what
was
he said?
gone.
I mean, you heard it, right? Okay.
So listen up. In the 80s,
Okay.
there was some type of move away from that strong 60s, 70s, like the bell bottoms, the disco period. I'm not an expert in 70s
No,
anything
me
because
neither.
I was born in 77. You were born in 78?
78, yeah.
Okay. So we're too young to be experts in 70s fashion, but we are, my friend, experts in 80s fashion because that's the heart of it for us.
I wouldn't go expert on any fashion, and it's proven in the pictures I sent you. That one, me leaning randomly against, I don't know, maybe it's an apple tree. I'm not familiar with my trees, but I mean, those damn white shorts, and you'll see it somewhere here, I'm guessing, could be over here. They don't get any shorter than that. You need 2 haircuts this day and age if I was to wear that right now. I
Right.
couldn't get away with it if I didn't have 2 haircuts. And then just that bright blue shirt that just came with, like if you shopped at Kmart in the 80s, I do believe that 90% of our moms just pointed at a weird little,
Where did you
mannequin.
shop? So I didn't live here.
I mean, you did.
I didn't live
This
here.
is back in the golden age of the malls. I mean, you had every option out there. There was nothing like today where you've got,
Was there so I heard there's a J.C. Penney's essentially in this where we're sitting,
oh God, I don't know
or
about
maybe
that.
or maybe across the street.
I remember State Street Store. Like that was a
Yeah.
big place to get like your fancies. You know what I mean? Someone died. Someone was about to go through their second marriage. We know it wasn't going to work, but we still went, and you had to buy clothes for it. Pain in the ass to everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was night and day. You literally went and you picked out what you wanted. Now you have to try things on and then send them back to Amazon. It's a pain in the ass. So there's only 2 places I know of that like.
Did you guys have? So I was living in Chicago at the time of when in 82-ish. Chicago. Like, do you know what Z Cavaricci is?
Jesus Christ, bananas. Yes, I know what Z Cavaricci
You're from
is.
Payson. How am I supposed to know that you know what Z Cavaricci is?
I mean, you were around when there were malls, right?
Yeah.
Well, just because, I mean, they,
Buster Brown?
God dang, no, like you, in your mind, like everyone grew up in bibs and just like hucking and yucking their way through a conversation and just eating gravel because that felt good. I don't know what you're thinking right now, but that's a crazy statement.
I think we're gonna get hate mail from me saying sarcastic things about Payson, when I don't even mean any of it, because I actually do like the 76 people that live there.
Well, at least the population's going up, which is important.
Actually, I was in Payson last week, and and there's actually a lot going on now.
You hear this? Chicago, Payson. This
There's
guy travels. Like,
there's
he's
a
got so much cash. He's like,
This
what?
is-
Tomorrow we're doing Minden. I bet he says that to the kids.
I've never been to Mendon.
Oh my God, give it time.
But they have a Casey's.
Who doesn't have a Casey's? That's where every poor kid that lives on a county road takes their first date. It's horrible. I feel bad for those children.
Yeah.
Like, when someone comes up to you and says the best pizza they've ever had, and you're like, well, what is it? And you're thinking maybe, John's on Bleecker Street. They've traveled somewhere to have a good pizza. They're like, oh, Casey's. And I'm like, oh yeah, home of the 8-pound slice. It's made of thin set. It's just not good pizza. Nothing against Roger Casey or whatever his name is that owns the place, but yeah, it's not like the best pizza. It's hangover pizza, I guess.
Does Quincy? Where do you find Quincy's best pizza? Where is the best?
No,
pizza?
dude, we can't do this.
This is gonna get us into.
We
huge
just There's no
trouble.
reason. There's good people in this town. We don't need to go breaking hearts.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt anybody's
No,
feelings.
it's all good.
Let's stick with Casey's.
Casey's.
'Cause Casey's is pretty good. So they listen. Their breakfast
Liar.
pizza.
Yeah.
Their breakfast. I've had it dozens and dozens of times, and I'm gonna order it on my way to San Diego next week.
Oh my God, dude! If he name drops one more city, I swear to God. Go on. What are you doing out there, Frankie?
Business.
Oh God, I knew
Business.
it. It wasn't going to be like, oh, I'm picking up a cocker spaniel for the family. It's no. It's I'm going to put on my suit, look like a fancy man.
Put on my suit and try
That's
to
right.
put my Dumb and Dumber haircut back together
Oh,
and
you'd
go out
look
there and try to
amazing
lose
with the bowl cut.
lose some sales. So, but this whole '80s fashion into '90s fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a big difference between '80s fashion and '90s fashion?
If you start looking right around like the middle of '90, you can start to see the transformation.
That's how far you gotta get. That's how far you have to go in.
It didn't take long, I don't feel. I think that like your big shows came out, for kids in the '90s, late '80s, that Saved by the Bell era, and all of a sudden now everyone's got acid wash pants. The bright neon took over, the Umbro shorts. It looked like a bunch of young mall walkers were being trained just to come up and really hit the bricks at the Quincy Mall.
I do think you're right that it took a while.
I don't think that's a while. 6 months into the '90s, I think that's a pretty fast transition from just a coked out themed of clothes being hodgepodge together, and it's like, well, What's Her Nuts did it on Pretty in Pink, so it works here.
Could you wear parachute pants in the '90s, or
Don't
was
be a
that
damn
dead?
fool, man. MC Hammer, come on, he did the.
Can't touch this.
Was that 90s? That was 90s.
I don't know.
If not,
MC Hammer?
he brought the parachute pants into light. I couldn't pull them off as a young lad.
That was
I would look like it was my special day to meet the team. Like, there's no way I could have pulled off the MC Hammer parachute pants. Impossible.
Yeah, because I'm trying to. MC Hammer. You can't. So that was like, remember like Tone Loc?
Of course,
Funky Cold
sure.
Medina.
Yeah.
And then you had like Bust a Move by what was that? Who sang? Who did Bust a Move? Was it Young MC?
Man, that's a great question. Richard Marx did that.
Richard Marx
Yeah.
probably had to this day.
What a sad bastard he was.
Was he?
Name one upbeat song. Like, this dude lost more girls, and I think he has to start looking inside. I don't think that this is a girl problem. I think this is a Richard Marx problem.
Oh, you don't think Richard Marx pulled?
I think he attempted, but then he showed up with so many Cosby sweaters, and it just threw people off. He just, like, they didn't know how to take him serious. And
They
then,
played the one song.
which one?
You're gonna make me. Of
course I am.
You're gonna make me say it and sing
Yeah.
it.
Don't sing it. You'll upset everyone.
The one song that he did, still to this day, it's one of. I mean, it's up there with that Rick Astley.
Don't.
That Rick Astley song. I'm not gonna say it.
No, how can you compare
But
a
Richard
genius
Marx-
like Rick Astley? I believe he's been knighted by now. I think he's Sir Rick Astley. So show the man respect. Do you not know what he did? He did so many things for a relationship. Like, he's never going to give up, right? We covered that earlier. But then he's been married like 3 times. So I have a feeling that song was. I don't think he took it as serious as I am right now. I think I want to fight for that song, but I can't look at his track record and say that he really believed the words he wrote.
Yeah. I'm never gonna give you up.
Never going to let you down. What if this chick was narcoleptic? You mean to tell me he was supposed to just follow her around at all time? You can't make a living that way. So he right off the bat say she is narcoleptic or just has a hell of an opioid, addiction. She's going to cave out at some time, and he's too busy.
Right.
He's a knight, I believe.
He might be a knight.
He's
but
not. I've never been to England.
Do you think there's any?
Works.
Like the transition, I don't think there's any real difference as like the 60s and 70s fashion kind of got squashed together for me, and then there was this late 70s disco thing that moved into 80s, and then I kind of put the 80s and the 90s almost together.
That's ridiculous.
I know.
I wouldn't do that.
I know, but then like the second half of the 90s throughout the entire 2000s, I crammed that together too. And what I did was, when we were talking about that earlier, I was trying to figure out where the line is, and I can't find it. There's no friggin' line.
You hit record, right?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to start over. We're going to have to start over.
We're not starting over. We've come too far. We've upset an entire village.
We've upset all of Payson, and now we're rocking Rick Astley quotes.
So what I'm confused about, though, is how can you go from the 80s of hodgepodging just outfits and lace and hats with teased hair, and then completely combine that with the grunge era of like 1991, 92 when Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam hit. I mean, kids like myself realize that I shouldn't be wearing FUBU at 13. I don't even know what it means. It looked cool on the television.
I can tell you what it means.
But then I heard 10, the album, and it was like, I need all the corduroy I can find. I'm going to need flannel shirts. I don't care how hot it is. I'm going to wear a flannel shirt. And I need those tan, Doc Martens, so that way I look like the fellas on the TV.
Yeah.
So like you just glazed over the 80s into the 2000s, and that's upsetting. You brushed right past silk shirts. You know how magnificent those were?
I would aren't silk shirts? Oh my gosh, people wore silk shirts. Yeah, we wore silk shirts.
I sent you 2 or 3 pictures with me in different silk shirts.
Yeah, don't ever do that again.
I'm going to continue to do it.
Like, you did it late at night. You did it like 2 in the morning.
Oh, the one of them was a selfie. You're welcome.
But I seriously can't remember. Like I said, I mean, I kind of squeeze a lot of the 80s through the 90s together because it to me, it's almost like the same time frame. And
gross.
From the middle 90s, it's really interesting that you said that it took some time to kind of merge and evolve into 90s, actual true 90s fashion with acid wash jeans. Because acid wash jeans was a very, very big deal.
But it died in the early 90s. It didn't continue on.
When did it die?
I'm going to say like 92, 93, people started realizing that I think they were the Z Cavaricis, the high-waisted, like triple-buttoned, stone-wash jeans. And then, of course, you had to tight roll.
Wait, did you
roll? Who the hell were you? I never tight rolled.
I never tight rolled.
I know. It's not a good look, but I didn't do it. I'm not a sheep.
No, you're not.
Follow that.
Not only are you not a sheep, but you have vision.
Oh,
because you knew how bad it was, and you didn't go with the crowd.
By looking at your picture, I had to fight. There was a brand of jean as a young chubby kid called Huskies, and if you don't know the hell of being caught trying on Huskies while your mother smoking a Doral in a department store, yelling at you to hurry up. Miserable. You ever been called whole milk because you were so chubby? Huh? You ever been hit with that? That's disaster. So yeah, you were stuck, like you and like 4 other fat kids, just staring at like the exact same pair of pants. There was no option. It was like a tiny, small gang for just kids that had been beaten down. But I got to tell you, some of the funniest kids you ever met were stuck in that section of that store with their mother yelling at them to, too sweet with the clothes. Come out here and let me see them. And you didn't want those clothes.
No, you didn't.
No, sir. No,
That's
sir.
Right. You could smoke.
Oh my God, everywhere. Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Hey, how is it that how could they put the smoking section, like back in the 80s and 90s, how could they put the smoking section right next to the non-smoking section? You'd walk into a store.
America.
You walk into a restaurant.
You're confusing restaurants.
Planes.
Planes. You're in a tube, and they're like, well, if you're gonna smoke that stuff, you got to get in the back. And that guy's smoking Kent's. He must have a good job. Things like that. It was a class thing. But yeah, to smoke in a restaurant, but yeah, to smoke on a plane's nuts.
But the same thing with the plane. It's like, okay, I'm in seat 4, I can't smoke, but they're in seat 5, right? I mean, did the smoke not travel to me? I'm pretty sure it did.
Listen, I've never taken a science class a day in my life, but I know how tubes work, and I'm pretty sure that those people up front owe those people in back a little money. They shared those expensive cigarettes with those people.
Yeah.
Shared them good.
So you mentioned Dural's.
Oh, yes.
Is that an expensive cigarette?
I don't know. I don't know. Cigarettes were super cheap, I guess, back in the 80s, 90s. I remember buying my dad a carton for like Father's Day, and I think they were like $12, I think, or something like that. Like I don't for like a carton.
It's a pretty considerate gift. You're a very thoughtful child.
Yeah. Well, that's back too when there wasn't. They didn't card you. They were just happy to see someone. It was just like, well, let's sell this kid a carton of smokes, and it was like, no, it's for my dad. And they're like, okay, whatever.
We believe you.
Take you in your husky pants and beat feet, Chubba Love. That's what they said.
Chubba Love. Those pictures that you sent me, though,
yeah,
you
lovely.
didn't look that chubby. Was this later?
I think I sent you like a blend from like 4 to like maybe 15, 16. And like after that, you kind of mentioned the 60s and 70s clothes. If you remember, like I graduated like 96, like 94, 95, 96, it was the giant bell bottoms. It was the low waisted. I mean, that 60s, the 60s came back there in the mid 90s. And like, I can't even tell you how many people I know that dressed up with, the John Lennon glasses and the tie-dye and the corduroy pants. I mean, total bringing back the 60s.
Yeah.
But see, I think we're missing out on a whole section of people. If you looked at Quincy Senior High back in the 90s and you took a bird's eye view, you had those one gang of no-goods that wore the leather jackets and the Judas Priest shirts, and just looking for trouble. They didn't know why. Yeah. Too many after-school specialists didn't touch them on the insides, and so they just didn't know how to react. I enjoyed those people. They were very funny, and they didn't give a shit. So I laughed at those guys. But then you had do you remember the Cowboys? Remember the Garth Brooks flamed shirts that you could buy?
Kind of.
Oh, he was in Chicago.
I was in the suburbs of Chicago. It wasn't a lot of people pretending to be country.
Do yourself a favor. In your cellular device, Google Garth Brooks shirts 90s and take a peek at what these guys were wearing. Now this was also, you ever seen the movie Tombstone, Big Cat? Oh, for God's sakes. They wore dusters, and for some reason that became like a hot item in that grouping of the high school cliques.
Garth Brooks.
To wear the Garth Brooks flamed shirts, put on the dusters. It's August, no one needs a body length duster on. It was just unnecessary, but it was their thing, and I gotta respect it. Gotta respect it. You see those?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, now hold on.
Flame shirt.
Not only did they look like that, and they bought them on purpose, but they were like $100+ for those.
Did everybody in your high school wear these, or just certain?
No, there was a certain grouping of fellas that decided to die on that hill.
Why would they do that? Did they do it every day?
These are great questions.
Did they do that every day?
This was a lifestyle. You didn't walk in one day wearing the Eddie Vedder mannequin outfit, and then all of a sudden the next day you pull up into that thing.
Man,
you see that? Can we, if we send that to Bob, we put it right here? That'd be fantastic. That is yellow, and it matches where the cuffs meet the shoulder.
When the thunder rolls.
Would you think that man is maybe fluent with a sword wearing that shirt?
It looks like he really wants to shoot his 6-shooter at like pigs. So there's one thing that I've never understood.
Basic math?
Basic math and country music. Is that bad?
Okay, wait. You can't just say country music anymore. Today's musicians have ruined the term country music.
Oh.
I'm not a country music fan, so nothing wrong with it. Everyone's listened to their fair share of it just because it was popular in the 90s. So if you went to the mall, you heard it at some kiosk on like a, two-way radio or something like that. But I forget what the most recent award show was, and it was like a clip on social media, and it was like, I don't know.
Was it BAFTA?
Alan Jackson like staring at like a jelly roll up there, just whining his ass off about God knows what, and he's just like, oh God. Like, I grew up slugging my wife because that's what you did as a country star, and now he's watching a jelly roll with face tattoos.
Yeah, that's not even right. Oh my gosh.
So you can't say country anymore because I don't know how to classify that. It's not country.
It's weird. Like, here's how much
I went to a concert, and there was no way around it. One of the opening acts was country. Nothing I could do about it. Did everything I could. Petitions, sent letters to my mayor. The guy asked out into the crowd, are there any daughters out in the crowd? Now, I've never given birth to a child. Seen it 3 times myself. But without daughters, there is no birth. And so I thought to myself, like, this guy has nothing else to go on. Like, his only question to the crowd is if there's any daughters out there. Imagine if there was just a whole sea of dudes jamming out to 2025 country. I guess there wouldn't be any daughters ever again if that was the case.
Right.
Ugh.
What is this is why the country thing for me, I can't relate. It's like, any daughters out there? Well, literally every single female is a daughter. Every single one. But you cannot be a female without being a daughter.
You know what just occurred to me though is that the guys that wore the flame shirts,
they raised their hands.
I mean, they found someone that would let them knock boots with that shirt on. And so obviously it worked for someone. And that's the beautiful thing about fashion is that no matter what side of life you come from, once you find your lane, you stick with it. If you own it, good things are going to come.
I think in the country world, nothing goes out of style.
I beg to differ. When was the last time you saw anyone wearing that shirt, my friend? Anything even remotely close to it outside of a Japanese kimono with that much flavor and color?
That's a good point. Is it
possible? When was the last time
you
saw a Big Dog T-shirt? Remember those? Big dogs get off the porch. Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
You don't remember those?
Not really.
Oh, for God's sake. What about Hypercolor? You breezed right past Hypercolor.
I did breeze.
That was not around in the 80s. That was an invention of the 90s.
Yeah. Hypercolor, it would change colors depending on body temp, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which,
I do remember that.
I mean, sometimes not a flattering look, you know? Teenage boy, maybe weighing 310 at 4'8". Gets a little sweaty. Things turn colors. There's no way to hide things.
Right.
Did you ever get an awkward, like, you know, in class wearing Umbros? Did you wear? You were a soccer guy, right? You wore Umbros.
We weren't allowed to wear that kind of stuff.
Oh, for God's
sake. We had to look good. I went to schools where
we can't relate to anything, Frankie.
No, I went to a school.
You mean to tell me you've never seen a man wearing a flame shirt?
I have, but definitely not at school. And I have Umbros. I have Umbros from the 80s right now. I have them on under my jeans. And I will tell you
what that smell is.
Yes. And I will tell you that unfortunately, I guess, for this conversation, I went to this school where you couldn't wear things like that. You had to wear pants where everybody kind of forced you to roll your pants. And then you had to wear docksiders or topsiders or dockers or whatever you want. Do you remember dockers? Remember topsiders? Have you ever heard of Sperry shoes?
You know, I just got running water maybe 2-3 years ago. I just wanted you to know that. Hey, have you ever heard of sandwiches? He has. He's heard of sandwiches.
Yeah.
Of course I've heard of that. No, listen, you little Republican, I understand what you're saying to me. I understand that you want pleated pants to come back. You want the shirt with the GD alligator on it. You had frosted tips, didn't you?
No, I did something way worse than frosted tips, though.
Hit me with it. And right now, don't think about it.
The boys in our class, we would let our hair grow long and we would crimp it. And this is like, you're getting angry thinking about it. I'm so sorry.
No. This is a great thing, you know? We're all learning to self-cope with stuff.
I mean,
did you wear puka shells?
No.
No
puka shells, but there was this time where we would all, like, convince our mothers behind our fathers' backs to buy crimpers or let us buy our mother's crimpers. Our mothers didn't have crimpers because our mothers are like 30 and 40 and 50-year-old women. They're like, you're not gonna be crimping your hair. So or their crimpers that they had in the 70s, 80s have been broken by this time. I'm telling you right now, I'll just go all the way here. At St. Peter's in Quincy.
Yeah.
This is not something I'm bragging about. I'm very sad to report.
Yep.
But we would all like try to get each other to grow our hair out like a mullet, chop the front up short like I've got mine now, but then grow it. I mean, it's a mullet. And then to make matters worse, we would crimp our hair. This is a very embarrassing thing. I'm really...
You went to your dad and
we're gonna have
said the
to edit
words,
this out.
"Can you get me a crimper or can I buy mom's crimper?"
No, I would never go to my dad. My dad
Did you
would...
have a fancy uncle that allowed it?
No, we would, like us boys, I don't think any of us went to our fathers and said, hey, I want to
So instead of
cut my hair.
stealing like a Playboy or like a 40 ounce of beer, you guys went to the local Walmart and stole a crimper.
In 7th grade, yeah.
It's aggravating.
In 7th
You know,
grade.
I was genetically forced into the husky aisle. You purposefully chose to do what you did to yourself.
I know.
Did you have earrings? You look like a guy that had an earring.
I got an earring in Puerto Rico.
Oh, Jesus
My
Christ.
senior year at QND when we went on a Spanish trip. That's when I got my ear pierced. I waited all the way to my
Is that
senior year.
4? Is that 4 times now?
Did you ever get your ears pierced?
Okay. Yes.
You did?
There was one time someone had stole a home ear piercing kit from Spencer's. I forget which one of my friends did that. And then we didn't know anything about how like alcohol worked and cleanliness and whatnot. So we jammed it in there. I mean, willy-nilly. And the next morning, it was the size of like one of those cutie oranges. And then we finally got that bad boy out of that ear. And that was the last time I ever attempted plugging a hole in my body on purpose. Right. Yeah. I gave it the college try. It just didn't work out. I was once bitten and twice shy. You're welcome.
Great White.
None of your business. What do you got? So let me ask you this. So you jumped from penny loafers and pleated jeans or pants and whatnot, and then you get to Quincy. You grow your hair like a feminine Canadian hockey player, and you crimp the absolute brakes off of it. What happens after that? Obviously, you didn't stick with that style. I think this table ruined my jeans. I like these jeans. What did you go with after that Billy Ray Cyrus look with the crimped?
So going into high school, I think I went into something equally bad of the part. I think I did the 90s part.
Oh yeah.
Where which is throwback to 50s.
A little bit.
It's throwback to 50s, 60s.
Well, there's only one famous man that did it, and that's Shemp from the Three Stooges. That's the only famous man you can reference, right?
It was more like George McFly's.
Okay.
It was more
solid.
like that, but not as much grease. Because we were all about pomade. Pomade was a big thing in the
There
90s.
is not a chance in hell that you used the product pomade at any time in your life.
What do you mean?
Like, there's no way that, like, when you went to your school where it sounds like you took a hot air balloon to school every day and then just whizzed down a rope with a hoagie that he gave you. I highly doubt that they used pomade. I bet you had something fancy. Like, I think Pert made a good product that I imagine that you would stick with.
It was called Crew.
See, I knew it wasn't pomade. There's no way you would have used that. That's flammable.
But so not like that oil petrol based pomade that if you light it on fire it'll burn for 3 weeks. I'm talking about like the little canisters. Looks like a hockey puck.
Oh yeah.
And you pop that sucker open
Sure.
and you really grease it down. But so I can't even look at myself in pictures from the 90s. It was all bad. Which, by the way, I'm not saying I've got a good haircut now. I would not even say that.
You look like a late in life lesbian.
Well, that's the look I was going for.
You did it. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I looked at Dave and he got me. He absolutely got me. I didn't think he would. He got me. I apologize.
But no, it's just like, what haircut have you been the most proud of? And don't tell me it's what you're wearing now because I know it's not that.
Listen, there's not one thing I've ever been proud of about this hair. I have it still. It's still somehow not completely gray.
You don't have hardly any gray.
No, it's ridiculous. So I don't know.
How do you not have any gray?
I don't know.
How come you've got no gray in your beard?
I don't know.
What the hell's the matter with you?
I don't know.
I can't see any.
There's a couple right there. There's a
Okay.
couple right there.
Yeah,
They're popping through. They're winning. I don't know how this happened. I'm gonna run with it as long as I can. Obviously.
Yeah, good for
I'm not
you.
gonna wish it away. But no, I went through so many different haircuts as well. I mean, you had the buzz cut when you were little because you didn't have a choice. I think at some point every mother tried to model their son's haircut after Dave Coulier off Full House. I don't know what that was. It tells you a lot about my mom.
Coulier.
That's right, cutting it out and all that stuff. And then from there, it goes with the times. You know, you have to pick you got to pick a lane, man, and you don't have to stay in it, but at least run with it for a second and find out what you like. You know, how the hell do you not know that if you slapped on a Garth Brooks shirt right now, that you wouldn't just look in the mirror and you just hear violins and you would know that this is what you've been missing your whole life?
Man, I gotta tell you, that Garth Brooks album.
Which one?
The one with When the Thunder Rolls, like his biggest album. And I'm not a big Garth Brooks guy. I already told you I'm not a big country guy. But that album was.
The song's about domestic violence.
Is it? It's not.
Thunder Rolls?
Is it really?
100%. Give it a listen.
Are you serious?
If we could do it right now, I could prove to you in the first 3 lines of that song
Really?
that guy had anger issues.
Man, God, he was so big, and then he fell off the face of the planet and just stopped.
You think? Well, he
Does
became
tour?
Chris Gaines. Do you not remember that?
No.
Garth Brooks, in all of his wisdom, sometime in the 90s, decided to put out an album. And he wore this haircut like The Cure. Like it was this insane, you have to look up Chris Gaines. And he tried to put this album out as Chris Gaines. But everyone is like, well, that's funny. That's Garth Brooks in a woman's wig. And he tried it. And again, I applaud the man for taking the jump. But if you really don't know about the Chris, so do yourself a solid. When you're having your BM, give a peek at the Chris Gaines story.
I will.
And just, it'll entertain you.
It'll-
It's worth a read, I guess.
Did you have a good childhood?
Oh, sure. Come on. Anyone that says they didn't really didn't have one. For
Didn't-
someone to be like, it was fine. It was fine. It's a good time, man. No internet, no social media.
I was like,
Ooh.
look at this.
Oh, this is hot off the
Thunder,
press.
The Thunder Rolls.
Oh my God, David Adams.
David Adams.
All right, I'm gonna
Photo
let.
sheet.
This is gonna happen. I'm gonna convince you. Let's have you start right about there, Frankie. And if you could, gosh dang it, David. I tell you what, man. If I'm ever gonna go out, trying to pick a fight with someone, I'm bringing you. You're my hammer. What you are.
Okay. So this is from 1990.
Of course it
Garth
is.
Brooks.
Yes.
And
This is
later-
good stuff.
Are you ready?
Of course I'm ready.
So this is very new to me. I have no idea what's going to happen.
You're all
here.
welcome, every one of you. You included.
3:30 in the morning, not a soul in sight.
Mm-hmm.
The city's looking like a ghost town on a moonless summer night.
Boom.
Raindrops on the windshield.
Mm-hmm.
There's a storm moving in.
Yeah, this guy's night blind.
He's heading back from somewhere that he should not have ever been.
Where do you think that is?
He's heading back. Ooh, is he cheating?
Boom.
Okay, and the Thunder Rolls and the Thunder
If
Rolls.
I had a hammer, I would just drop it. But
Okay.
I got Dave, so he did it. We're good.
So
We're good.
next, so the
Okay.
Thunder Rolls and the Thunder Rolls.
Where do
So
you think he's been then?
the
You
ne-
think he's been a cheating, right?
It looks that way. Okay, well, hold on a minute. I'm not sold yet.
Go on.
Every light
Take
is
your
burning
time.
in a house across town.
He didn't pay the electric bill, it tells
She's
me.
pacing by the
Whole
telephone
house of candles. Isn't that insane?
in her faded flannel gown.
Yeah. He hasn't treated her to a new
Asking
shirt.
for a miracle, hoping she's not right, praying it's the weather that's kept him out all night.
And then what happened?
And then the thunder rolls.
That's right.
And the lightning strikes,
Mm-hmm.
another love grows cold on a sleepless night. As the storm blows in, out of control, deep in her heart, the thunder rolls.
Okay. Keep
Okay.
going.
She's waiting by the window when he pulls into the drive. She rushes out to hold him, thankful he's alive.
So she thinks this poor hard-working man put in an 18-hour day. Look what happened. I just
But
blew
on
his
the
mind.
wind and rain, a strange perfume blows.
Probably Jakar Noir. He was at a truck stop knocking on the door. I'm
And-
kidding. I don't know if that's true or
And
not.
the lightning flashes in her eyes, and he knows that she knows.
Boom.
And the thunder rolls.
Yeah, that's right. Is that not powerful? You got the chills, I can tell.
What the hell?
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Drink
so-
from that well. Keep going. You're still thirsty.
Wow, so no, I didn't know that country music had substance until just now.
You're the first person I've ever heard call it substance, but okay.
No,
that
this
is a
is
word
just-
you could use for sure.
Okay, that is shocking to me. I did not know that. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Do country people do country music lovers and appreciators know that? Do they know that that's what that is? Oh, they do?
Yeah.
You
I
do?
mean, I think you're under the assumption that if they sing country, that they're just licking water off rocks. Like, these people know how to read a lyric, you know what I mean?
I'm assuming that country is just like the Super Bowl
boy.
halftime show's version of whatever that was.
Yeah.
It's like stuff that I do not understand. Like, I don't understand the rap game from the Super Bowl. I don't understand country. I'm a one-trick pony. I like Duran Duran.
Oof.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're not. It's okay. Stick with what you like. Don't sit there and change it for me. You
No,
wiener.
I'm a Radiohead and Tool guy. How about you?
No. Big fan of both. Enigma was a fantastic album.
Wait. Enigma? Wait, the band?
No, the Tool album.
Oh.
But you were a fan. Oh my God.
What?
You're not a fan.
There's a Tool band album named Enigma?
Well, what's your favorite Tool album?
No, there's no Enigma.
What are you talking about?
I don't think there is. Like, there's Anima.
Is that what I'm thinking of? Enema?
Yeah.
Enema?
Anima.
Enema? You saying enema? Is that what I'm thinking of?
That's what you're thinking of.
I'm not a fan then.
No. Hey, does fan mean
Stick Fist. Isn't that a weird name for a song?
Oh, dude.
I know.
We can't.
No.
We can't read the lyrics of
Hey,
that
David,
song.
can you?
No, don't. No, David Adam does not want to look at the lyrics of Stink Fist by Tool.
I believe he does.
No, he's a high in. He's a.
Undertow was good,
a
too.
high ethics man.
Yeah,
He has
no.
no time for
I
that.
would pay money if we could get Dave Adams, and I'd give it all to charity, to stand in front of a green screen and just as calm as can be, read the lyrics to some of the most gooned up songs you've ever listened to in your life. If David would do me the honor, I would pay him $18 if he would just read the lyrics to Stink Fist.
No, don't do it.
From Tool.
No. I respect him too much for that. Anyway, all the Tool fans out there.
He wants to do it.
He doesn't. It's very bad, David. It's very bad.
It's about made right.
It's much worse than the Thunder Rolls.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's much, much worse than that.
So, okay, that's a whole nother genre, though, of fashion from the 90s. When you mentioned the bands like Tool and you mentioned 9 Inch Nails, that was, again, a whole separate, group of people that wore the. I don't think goth is the right word. Like, for that era, it was
No.
it was that industrial music thing where it was black and you had that skater kind of pants. Again, you were halo dropped into your school every morning, given fresh blueberries.
You mentioned skating. Did you skateboard?
Did he not hear a word I said when I said I shopped in the Husky? Huskies don't make great skateboarders. You know what I mean? The fall is horrible.
Yeah. What? Hold on a second. So, did you not play sports?
I played the hell out of sports.
But-
yeah, no,
okay.
not a skateboarder. No,
Okay.
like I never went to the roller rinks. It wasn't my thing.
So, am I
wheels?
So, you keep on talking about how husky you were.
308 pounds.
Are you being serious?
No, but that would be hilarious if I was 4'8", just walking around housing old school styrofoam containered McDonald's quarter pounders.
Yeah, what that means is that you really truly didn't play any sports, because that's not even possible being that size and actually playing.
You've never loved to eat and run. I did it at the same time. Only kid that ran a mile in under 4 minutes while eating a blizzard. Look it up. Look that up. Under 4 minutes.
That is
Pretty impressive, I know.
Lightning quick.
I know. That's what I was told.
I believe that you are in record books for something.
I'm
like
not.
that.
I mean, that's
No,
the idea that you believe that is awesome.
I
but
believe
no,
everything you say.
Please don't. Please don't do that. None of you.
What
Should be a
is-
disclaimer that says don't believe this man.
What do you think was the highlight of the 80s? And then I'm going to ask you the same question for the 90s and the 2000s. So what was a defining moment for you in the 80s? Was there anything?
The movies, man. I mean, we grew up in an era with, you watched what you were given on television, and that was that. We had just came out really with the VCRs, the beta, the VHS, the video rental scene hit, and so movies were a huge part. I mean, I know where you lived, they submarined you in under the moat, and then brought you up all eating some kind of Dagestani caviar. But no, where we grew up, you had 2 channels, and you fought through that. And then if you were lucky enough, you went and you rented a movie, and you came home and watched it as many times as you could before it had to be returned.
To clear the air.
Movies.
To clear the air. Here's how much money we had.
Oh, God.
We moved into a house.
Oh my God!
Where we
with walls?
Well, check it out. With plywood floors, and I remember my mother always saying, "I want you to wear your shoes in the house," which was very confusing to our friends that would come over, and they would take their shoes off. My mom would say, "No, put your shoes back on," because you would get splinters if you walked around our house without shoes on. So that's.
Did you ever think that
how much money we had.
Maybe there was no reason to go to a school that catapulted you across the moat into your school, and maybe put the money into flooring?
Yeah, well, listen, man, that's what
Shag
happens.
carpeting?
That's what happens when you go to Catholic school. You got a mother who is spending every waking second on her hands and knees. Be careful. Waking up very early in the morning.
Why did he?
Waking up very, very early in the morning and washing and waxing all the floors just to send us to private school.
So you mean to tell me that scene in Karate Kid did wonders for your mother and her habits at home? By the way, that was complete child labor, right? Like, there's no way Miyagi could get away with that today, right? There's no way.
There's no way anybody can get away with how coaches treated us in sports in the 90s. There's no way.
No, that's yeah, that's a different episode for sure, because that was insane. The way that there was no safety back in the day. It was just,
I was at wrestling practice last night.
Go out there, champ. Okay.
So, in high school, a wrestling coach, and who I think is one of the greatest humans anywhere. He's alive and well in Jacksonville, Illinois. He's one of the greatest humans, period. Mm-hmm. So this is how much I think of this person. And everybody who knows him thinks he's a very great man. And during wrestling season, when we did something wrong, and he would tell us over and over, stop doing that.
Was he deaf?
No.
What did it sound like if he was deaf, though? How would he say it?
That's a good question. He would tell us to go run around the football field.
Yeah, that's no big deal.
Yeah, it's January and there's 2 feet of snow outside, and we're like, "Hey, coach, we need to put our shoes on." He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Just go. Hurry up. You're still here? Go."
I bet that
we would run around. We would run around the football field in the snow with no shoes on, running around and around and around, and coming back into a 110-degree room, because that's how hot we had to keep the wrestling room. You know what would happen today if I did that to any of my wrestlers?
I blacked out. I'm sorry. What?
I would get jailed.
For what?
For asking a kid to do anything. Asking a kid to do a push-up or a sit-up, or like, hey.
You've never convinced a kid to steal something for you at the gas station?
No, that's legal.
Did this last week.
That's legal.
Yeah, you're missing out.
That's California stuff.
You're not taking advantage of your position with these wrestlers. These kids are very impressionable. If you teach them to steal now for you, the sky's the limit.
It's true.
Don't you want a new outdoor patio set?
I do.
What are you horsing around for then?
I don't know.
Those kids in Walmart, distract one, balloons up into the multiple cameras around the room. You got to really Danny Ocean this thing, my man.
I know. You're right. Did you say Danny Ocean?
I did, yeah. You got to give that the
reference.
business.
That's very good. So the 80s were the movies. In the 90s, what was something in the 90s that kind of sticks out? That's one of your favorite things?
Music, by far.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that, sure, everything can be debated, but the 90s obviously brought the best decade of music, in my opinion. Everyone, the Beatles and all those people stole from other people that had already walked that road. I mean, if you look at some of the 80s biggest hits, they're covers. You really can't say that about the 90s. The 90s brought that. They went from the glam rock and the synthesizers to actually just rugged guitar and just thumping drums and crazy lyrics. I beg you to this day to listen to Nutshell from Alice in Chains and tell me that doesn't make you want to go out and do a field with a bottle of Cold Duck, 45.
Cold Duck.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you do.
That's the nastiest asti spumante.
Oh, then you've never drank an aftershave, my friend.
You're right about that music.
You've got to get on it.
Man, you're right about that music.
Oh, it was amazing, dude.
That music was unbelievable.
And look how much that music, look how it styled fashion. It was unbelievable what it did. It created a coast-to-coast, worldwide cargo pants, and
I cannot believe how good that music was.
it's amazing, dude. It's amazing, and you can still to this day, you think you know all the grunge bands that were out there, but it was so regional. Obviously, everyone knows the Northwest with Seattle and that scene, but man, there are so many good grunge bands that were just huge regionally that if you just do some research now, thank God we got these phones and you can find whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the music is just the best part about the 90s.
Okay, so how about the 2000s? So at that point,
That's when everything fell apart.
that's when everything
Yeah.
got
It
started to
just
go sideways.
Okay, so when you went from meaningful lyrics and just Chris Cornell just crying through lyrics and not in like a sissy way, but he was obviously troubled. But then you went to Fred Durst, and Limp Bizkit took over, and I think like that was like the tipping point. You know what I mean? Like right after that was when you started getting into your Backstreet Boys.
Interesting.
And people were like, okay, we've had enough downtrodden sadness with the grunge scene and the mosh pitting and everything's cyclical. I get that. I know everything comes and goes, but that seemed to take an anchor, and it's still here to this day, 25 years later, and that's just that's upsetting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Listen, I applaud Taylor Swift, $1 billion tour, awesome, good for you. I don't know much of her music at all, but that's what's here now, and it's been here for quite some time, and it's upsetting.
Like 25 years.
Long time.
A long time. That is so interesting. I've never heard anybody say that. You're right about that. When the 90s transitioned.
I'm very smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he thinks I come from Payson, where we chewed on feed corn.
Yeah,
I brought that back again from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
feed corn. That's twice. It's 2 times. Keeping track at
it's
home.
Like, I thought you were kind of smart, super funny, but I didn't know.
I know how to read and everything.
Well,
I learned to read in Alabama libraries.
You don't,
because
because you're always asking me to read. Don't try to pretend like you know how to read this lyric sheet here.
If I would have read this to you in my snarky way, it wouldn't have made as much sense to you. But since you read it in your highfalutin, mother, get the carriage, it's time for school. Yeah. Make me a homemade scone. I don't know. Those lyrics are just one of. Damn it.
I'm gonna ask my wife if she knows
brought more lyrics.
what that song's about.
Thunder Rolls?
I'm gonna get, as soon as we're done with this pod, I'm gonna call my wife and say, what does Garth Brooks, The Thunder Rolls, what is it about?
You're 57, right?
Close.
Your wife is how old?
32.
You didn't know about this song. What in God's name makes you think your wife will know about the meaning behind these lyrics?
Because she's from Michigan and she was homeschooled.
I don't know if he knows how geography works. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he understands north, south, east, west. That's fine. Ask her. Give her a call now if you'd like. I have money that says that she would ask you to stop calling here. You know? Maybe pay the child support. It's time,
honey.
you know?
Also, can you stop calling me?
Yeah, please. It's enough. I pay for the minutes. That's what you got to say to her.
Unbelievable.
So remember that when you had to pay for minutes in the 90s?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Beepers. That was part of fashion.
Did you have a beeper?
I did have a beeper.
You really did?
I did have a beeper.
Okay, so
yes.
you can't make fun of me anymore.
Oh, I certainly can, and I will. That's going to happen. There's no way around it, honestly.
Oh. I never had a beeper, ever. Never had a beeper.
No, I know. I'm aware. I could just look at you and tell. I mean, again, you were charioted into school. Oh, Frankie's here. Bring out the good books.
Yeah.
No more of these softback books.
Yeah.
Hard covers.
Call my mother.
I bet you, oh my God, you had Trapper Keeper money.
I had used Trapper Keeper money that I got from garage sales. Did you? Let me ask you. Okay.
I don't
did
get it.
Did you have to cover your textbooks
And grocery bags.
In grocery bags?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're on the same.
Where else could you draw Vanny Wiener? You've got to remind me we can't say certain things here.
Like what?
Venus. Can't say that. You can't say that.
Oh man. So, when are we gonna do the next Frankie and the Klitz? So we're doing it every other week.
Yeah, no, and the people have spoken. They want twice a week, and I say no. It's not going to happen.
I would like to do twice a week.
I would not. That's too much. That's
too much.
Frankie and the Klitz. You and I don't need this much Frankie and the Klitz, and we are them.
We don't need as much Frankie and the Klitz as we're gonna give it to ourselves later. Oh boy, that just
Wow,
sounds terrible.
man.
You don't want to say that.
That's twice.
That's exactly what you don't want to say.
It's 2 times.
So are we going to be allowed, we'll ask the editor and the publisher how far we can go about being ourselves.
I would like it if Dave Adams never left and just played standards and practices for us. And he kind of, he could hit the thump button and be like, no, you can't
Right.
say those words.
Right.
And he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be a very big part in our Saved by the Bell opening video
No,
sequence.
but he's not going to like it.
He's gonna love it.
He's not going to like it.
He just blew me a kiss.
But, anything else you want to talk about for today?
No, man, it's getting more crisp. We're getting there. You know, you and I have only known each other for roughly 18 years, probably best friends. But
yeah.
in all
We know
honesty,
everything about each other.
We've known each other about, what, 4 hours?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I think we've come a long way for 4 hours.
Look what you've taught me.
Yeah, man. No, how to really dig deep into lyrics to find domestic violence. I think that's
this?
Oh, no. No, you cannot keep that. You only made one of those, and that goes back to Chris Gaines.
That is the secret sauce is gone.
Yeah.
Well, so see you in a couple weeks.
I guess so, man. I guess
man.
so. Let's make it happen. And I'll
Nice to
send,
see you.
please, I need you to start sending me some subject headings so I can tell you how bad they are,
Yeah.
and then give you mine that we're just going to do.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
Bully. I like how this is working.
I like it. I will stop into Hooligans and try to find the same bartender who made me the perfect Captain Diet. It was amazing.
Do you want to do that weird thing we did last time where you held my hand oddly?
No, so what happens is...
What happened?
Like-
Are you mushy?
No.
You moist?
No, yeah. So
Why is he so moist?
my hands sweat in the studio. Look at these lights that are on us, man.
What was
It's like,
that?
Huh?
What was that?
This thing, it's like I can't see. It's like, oh, that's blinding me. And now when I'm looking at you, all I saw are flashing lights. But yeah, no, yeah,
right.
Here, yeah,
Yeah.
here,
But
see.
yeah, come to
There it
Hooligans,
is.
10th and Washington. Thanks for listening.
Thanks. See ya.